What's up, Detailers Daily? This podcast is brought to you by our mates at Autofiber Australia, so providing the world's finest microfiber right here in Australia. As a professional detailer, it's so important not only to use real high quality products, but also real fine quality towels as well. I never thought too much into the microfiber, but once I started using and to test out the Autofiber range, I really noticed the difference in efficiency and I'm getting better results, and the towels last way longer. The Scrub Ninjas, coating applicators, drying towels are just some of the products I use, and they're well worth the money. So make an order today and use the code 15DDUP and get 15% off, and they'll even throw in a free product. So head over to autofiber.com.au or check them out on Instagram, Autofiber Australia. Thanks. Hey guys, Dale here again. Before we kick off today's episode, I'd like to make mention of our online detail training course we have available. Brought to you by the man himself, Todd Cooperrider of Esoteric Elite Detailer Academy. So what is it? It's a 3-day in-person auto detail training, but it's now offered online, all from the comfort of your own home, including paint correction and ceramic coating courses, both classroom and hands-on sessions for each course, 62 videos and quizzes, and it's exclusive content that's not available on YouTube. So who is it for? It's for the enthusiast, the inspiring business owner of a detailing business, and also a pro to even brush up on techniques they might not even know. So head over to our Instagram and the link in our bio, and it'll direct you to the Esoteric Detail Academy training page, and use the code DOWNUNDER for $100 off for April only. So take advantage of it, guys, and make use of it and enjoy it. Thanks.
Welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast, the place for everything auto detailing in Australia right now. Here's your host, Dale Guthrie.
G'day and welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Dale Guthrie. So we're back into it, another fortnight, another pod. So this one's been a bit different, and it's something, the reason why I got into podcasts and then take it to new places in our country. So the plan is to go on the road and go to shops and wherever else in the industry and have a chat to people if I can. So today I'm down on location. I'm back from Sydney from the detail training with Chicago Auto Pros, and I've made time today to drop in and see a few details on the way. And we've been planning this one for a little bit. He's a hard man to get hold of or catch and talk to. So, but I've dropped in to Detail Central down into Carrum Downs and caught up with the owner, Dan. So how you going, Dan?
Very well, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming down.
No, it's been awesome. Thanks for your time. We've knocked off for the day and we've shut the doors. So we've thought we'd swing around the shop, and I've already had a bit of an insight to what goes on down here, which is pretty impressive, and we'll probably touch on a little bit. And we just want to touch on products, what you sell, but I'll probably start with how you got into the industry and how did Detail Central come about?
Yeah, sure. I guess my journey is probably a little bit different to a lot of people. I've been involved in and around and alongside the detailing industry now for probably the better part of 30 years. I've always been involved in sort of the car industry or scene from a very early age. I was involved through friends and family, through panel shops and all that sort of scenario. I from there started, was working in a detailing business, and worked with at that stage a partner in detailing, and then for various reasons I basically got out of detailing full time. I basically had an injury to my wrist, which I've now got a fairly large screw that holds it all together, which sort of limited my ability to swing a rotary for 8 hours a day. I basically went and started working full time in another industry, and utilised what I could as to sort of stay within the detailing realms as more of a sideline thing. Still kept my pulse, or hand on the pulse of what was happening in the industry, and helped with customers. I've had a couple of collector clients that I've been working with now for a bit over 20 years. And I was fairly privileged from an early onset to, I had access to a couple of commercial chemists overseas through family and friends, that's basically been able to give me a bit more of an insight into, I guess, the back end of detailing chemistry, and sort of how to work with products and how to utilise the chemistry aspect of it. And from there, we sort of evolved into, I was doing a lot of marine detailing at the time, and I came across a couple of products for my own boats, it was a case of I brought in a couple of products from Woody Wax USA, which was a very specific marine product for a boat of mine. And the usual situation, friends would turn up and figure out that you had something pretty cool, and next minute they've basically knocked off most of your gear. And that's sort of where we led into importing products. So we basically put some money on the line and we imported a range of marine products and set up an online store and was running that from home as a basically part-time gig. And then we got back into the custom car scene, and that sort of evolved into, what your car's looking good, what do you use, what products, and can you get this for me? And then we started bringing in a couple other brands by that stage. So, and it sort of evolved from basically stocking product out of the back shed in the middle of nowhere, to what was then called the Shed of Dreams, into what we have now, which is a fairly sizable factory and warehouse, and basically now a full-time gig and process from there.
Yep. Were you always that guy that just wanted to test everything or use every product and thought?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I guess the fact that I wasn't relying on detailing as an income meant I could treat myself more like an enthusiast process, where I had the time and I wasn't constrained by money of, have to do this much on this job to get viability out of it. So I literally have tested thousands of products over the time. At one stage we cleared out a shed at home, and I filled a skip bin with probably $50,000 worth of detailing products that have been collected over the years. And just I was that guy. I've tested things, I've developed things. As I said, I was pretty lucky with a few of the guys I was dealing with overseas that I would be sent products to test and evaluate, and that sort of gave me a good leg up into being able to help other companies develop, and all the brands we can touch on that I work with manufacture directly. So we help and assist them with the products and the development of the products, and improving the products to whether it be our processes or our climate or environment, and it all stems through the same network.
Yep. And the thing behind the chemist side of things, you're always interested in that as well, or how product is made?
More so how it's made. I'm certainly not a chemist. I don't have any chemistry background. I've got an interest in how things do and how things work, and I guess that's why we got involved in detailing in the first place, or cars in general. I was the same as most people. I was that guy who pulled stuff apart to see how it worked and never managed to get it put back together. And that's the same with detailing. Yeah, I like to know how things work in a way to either improve the product or improve my ability to use the product.
Yep. So back detailing, what was your main service? What was your go-to thing?
In the early days, it was yard and express work, the basics and fundamentals. From there, we were doing sort of your traditional cut and polish, and we're talking 25, 30 years ago now. There was no such thing as correction coating work. It was lambswool cut and polish with some max green cutters and a bit of glaze over the tops.
So, so how long has this officially been running, and how long you been in this? You're in Carrum Downs here, so how long?
So the business originally started back in what were we 2007 when we started importing and distributing product from basically home. The business, I've been full-time in the business now for about 8 years, and we've been full-time at this facility in Carrum Downs now for a bit over 6 years. Well, 6 years in December.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And you are pretty well known in this area. Like I've had a few people on the pod already, and that's where your name kept dropping a fair bit. And I'm like, who's this Dan guy? I must have a chat to him. And yeah, they obviously, a lot of them are based around here. And obviously today I went and visited them as well. Not all of them, I ran out of time, but yeah, you obviously work with a lot of guys locally, which is
Yeah,
good.
we do. I mean, look, we service Australia wide, but I do have, I guess, a local network of guys who are hands-on in the sense that they want to be able to come into the store and sit down and touch and feel product. We have a range of detailers, literally 2 streets up from us is the boys at Street Appeal, and we've got a number of other detailers that we sort of rely on our products and our service, but we also do service and look after and help and look after customers all over Australia.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty handy for them boys down here. They wouldn't have to pay shipping like a lot of us details from around the country, and they can just walk in and grab everything off the shelf pretty much.
Absolutely. Look, I guess it's like the convenience of being able to jump in the car and spend 10 minutes and be there and pick up what you need and go again. You know, it's as opposed to having to wait for Australia Post to actually do their job and deliver it.
Yeah. So back in a few years ago when we had the spicy cough going around, did your business actually flourish even more, like we've seen in the industry pick up? Or did
It changed for us. The vast majority of my business, we really cater for professional detailers. And if I'm splitting hairs, more the premium service detailers. We don't do a lot of bulk chem stuff. We don't do a lot of express detail work in terms of what we supply. So the vast majority of our customers are either mobile or shop-based, doing correction coating work or more premium detailing services rather than your $50 wash or your basic interior dress and clean. We do service those as well, but the vast majority of our customers are more of a premium service. Yeah. Through COVID and the lockdowns and everything else, our industry or our customer base was hit fairly hard. Especially the vast majority of customers that are mobile based were no longer allowed to attend sites or work mobile, etc. So we had a lot of turn in business where our professional business dropped off, but we then suddenly had an influx of people who were sitting at home and had been going through podcasts or YouTube videos and suddenly decided they wanted to look after their own car or their detailer couldn't turn up. So we did increase sales of the enthusiast market and the DIY market. So we probably balanced out pros and cons even, just turned a different direction.
Yeah, no, that's good. So back then, what was your first product that you had on the shelf?
First product that I imported, which was the Woody Wax Marine line. As I said, that was initially brought in because they had a very specific product for my own boat, which was a non-skid deck wax. I used to do a lot of offshore fishing, and where I live, we had access to Western Port Bay and straight out through offshore. Used to chase a lot of game fish and shark, etc. So having a dirty boat was always a problem. If you're anything related to detailing, it's always an issue. That particular brand had a really great product at the time. That's where we started. And as I said, I literally had friends that would turn up and they'd steal the product out of my box and I'd be left with nothing. And we set up a website and started the original branding for Woody Wax Australia. We basically did that exclusively for about 3 or 4 years, and then advanced from that. We were bringing in automotive products at that stage, which was the HD brand or 3D products out of the USA. And we sort of expanded on that. And from 3D and HD, we then moved in. We were Angel Wax has sort of not long been on the scene, and they are another manufacturer out of Glasgow in Scotland. John and Matt and the guys there are very passionate about what they do. Very different, I guess, format and direction of the way they develop the products and why they develop the products and how they develop the products. So at that stage, we were expanding, our customer base was expanding, and our customer requirements were expanding. So we joined forces with Angel Wax and became the distributor for Angel Wax here in Australia. About the same time, we were, like everything that the market or the industry was turning to ceramic coatings as a more of a forefront in the industry. They've been around, ceramic coatings have been around in the industry for quite some time, but not so much as the mainstream, especially like they are now. I tested a lot of products in coatings. I think at one count I tested about 118 different brands of coatings and to find something that would fit what I wanted. And again, I guess I look for a little bit different to a lot of people. It wasn't about price and profit, it was about performance and product itself rather than, and you'll see that with most of the brands we sell, they're not mainstream brands, they're not highly marketed brands, but I can stand by the products that we sell, and the products that the manufacturers provide us are first class in every category. So at that point we jumped on board with Kai from Kamikaze, and which is a fairly unique product line, and the way that Kai was developing his products too were very much around a system of performance rather than I guess pricing. From there, it's sort of evolved. We've kept added bits and pieces to our range. We were dealing with Buff and Shine for their foam pads and wool and etc. That period. Again, that was probably more from personal preference. I preferred the Buff and Shine style pads. I still think they've got one of the best adhesive Velcro systems in the industry. And then we've just continued to add and evolve product lines. We deal with some specialty products like Solution Finish out of the US as a black plastic trim restorer. I think it's the only one of the best true trim restorers on the market, rather than a silicone or a dressing. And then so that's kind of where we're at today. And the latest line for us is our own in-house brand, which is the ENVOKE car care line.
Yeah. I'll just touch back on the wax, because you've got a pretty impressive looking wine fridge here, but there's no wine in it, it's full of wax. So how's wax sales these days?
Look, for I guess people like myself that would like to think of themselves a little bit more of an old school guy, I love a wax. You can have your synthetics and coatings and ceramics and everything else, but there's something just really special about the finish that a high-end wax gives. And yes, we have, much to the disgust of many wine drinkers, a rather expensive wine fridge here that holds an awful lot of expensive wax that would probably rival some people's wine collections. There's just something really cool about a wax. Even in today's technical advances, and we have advances in the waxes too. I mean, Angel Wax have a couple of really cool waxes in. Fifth Element is a titanium blend wax, so we get huge durability. We're talking 6+ months out of it. Still maintaining that really nice wet finish and deep finish that a wax produces. The Angel Wax Enigma Wax, again, is a ceramic-based product. It will give you sort of upwards, 12 months or more. It gives you all the attributes of a ceramic coating in terms of water behaviour, self-cleaning, chemical protection, etc., but with the ease of application of a wax, and you still get the, I guess, visual attributes of a wax rather than a coating. Coating's really cool, different technology, different industry, but it just doesn't have the same soul in the finish that I feel a wax does.
Yeah. Wax is not always dead. It's not dead yet, that's for sure. So, and the Angel Wax, you're a distributor. So do you have many installers in Australia?
For Angel Wax coatings, we have, I think, about 35 installers Australia-wide at this stage. Bulk of our installation or our network is Victoria-based at this stage. And COVID probably is the main reason for that. When the Angel Wax coating lines launched, it was just before COVID, and we basically lost 2 years where we couldn't do travelling or set up for network training or anything like that. So the Angel Wax ceramic coating line, we have a couple of products that are accessible for anybody that's still pro products, but what we class as open market products. So our Angel Wax Legacy line, which is a titanium hybrid blend. It's also available as a wheel and caliper coating. And then we have our pro-only products, which is the Solaris, Genesis and Nebula, which is a 3-year, 5-year and a 5-year hybrid graphene coating. So that network is something we will sort of advance in the next 12 to 18 months, more so in the other states. But so it's just a sort of a growing process.
Yeah. And because we'll do a bit of a thing on your products here shortly, but Flex, you obviously
So we're a
dealer for
reseller
them?
for Flex, yeah. Again, I mean, I'm probably a bit selfish in the products that we sell. I base them around the products that I like and the products I like to use.
I was going to get to that, yeah.
I find Flex, out of all the products available, to be exceptionally good value. They perform well, they're reliable. A big part of my business is to sell products or provide products to people who rely on them. I don't want to sell products that people can't rely on. So, we've worked with and sold other products in the past, and I just find that the Flex range is a better fit for what I want to offer my customers.
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot at the moment. So even their cordless range is pretty impressive.
Cordless range is definitely getting out there. I think battery technology has come a long way from where it used to be. I think it has a long way to go to be, comparable to a corded machine, but 100% has its place. If you're allergic to extension cords like most people or power points, cordless 100%. They work very, very well in that aspect.
Yeah, I was at the Chicago Pro Training, and we had all Roops machines. You had two 15s and two minis running around, and the amount of cords on the floor, we were all tripping over. It was unbelievable. And I made the comment. I said, "Imagine if we all had cordless machines right now. It looks so much tidier around here." So,
well, in all honesty, if you're utilising that many machines and cords in one shop, it becomes a trip hazard.
Absolutely.
So the cordless, like most things, I mean, you go back 15 years ago, the cordless drill was a revolution, and it still is. If you go in any shop now, trying to find a corded drill or something is near impossible. Polishing equipment will go the same way.
Yep.
Probably the best example I've got for that in the Flex range is the PXE80. The little mini polisher is probably the most versatile tool I've ever come across. We joke with some of the guys I deal with it, what I could have done with that 20 years ago. It's just a really cool tool, and it works. And your battery now process, you're charging a battery before your battery has run out, so your hot swap ability is huge, and which means you're not cutting down production time.
Yep. That little machine alone's had a lot of comments on this pod, so it's definitely one I'm looking into, and that whole battery thing, cordless, that's...
Sale aspect aside, it is probably the most versatile detailing tool you can have in terms of polishing machines. The ability to go from a 1-inch rotary connection and literally click and connect like an SDS drill bit into a 3-inch 12mm dual action on the fly is phenomenal. You can, it's a tool you will physically use on every single car you're working with, and it will replace a 3-inch or 75mm corded polisher. If you're just processing a car and you see a scratch, you can literally hot swap onto the rotary and buff out that scratch, and then basically swap it back out to the 12mm DA, and then buff out any holograms and move on the process.
Yep.
It's just a phenomenal tool.
No, I seen one today, so I had my hands on one. It was very impressive. But this other Aussie brand that I have been talking to them, but I haven't got them around on the pod yet. But Big Boy, you're a big stockist of the Big Boy.
Yes, yeah. We've been involved with Danny and the team at Big Boy basically since they started. We've actually probably had a fair amount of input into helping them develop the brand and the products themselves. A really, really great range of products that are definitely developed and manufactured around detailing focused, which is something that a lot of other, I guess, products in the same categories are not, or haven't started that way. But yeah, we like everything, all the products we sell here is something I stand behind. It's more important that we sell a product that's going to work. There's no point in selling something that doesn't. I'm not interested in selling false hope and fake dreams. They work. Products just simply work. And they too have evolved, and the willingness for the team to sort of want to continue to evolve the range and evolve specifically around detailing. The new Washer Pro is a really cool pressure washer. It's comparable with your $2,500 pressure washers, at a huge value for money at sub $1,000.
Yeah.
At one stage, the previous model, the Washer Flow for $379 with that comes with a foam lance, I think was still the best value pressure washer you could buy under $600-700. You're comparing it performance wise with the likes of Karcher K5, K6, and Gurney's 140s, 150.3s, etc. Great value for money tools and equipment.
They got all the quick disconnect fittings as well with all the hoses and
Yeah,
stuff,
so again, this is sort of where they've continued to evolve. Initially, it was all press fittings and standard bayonet stuff, and now the whole line, including the smaller pressure washer, now comes with quick connect fittings and attachments, etc., which, again, just for a professional aspect, increase your workflow and efficiency. From a domestic point, just make things easy.
It does. I have the big boy, I think it's the Pro Blower, but yeah, that's definitely impressive. I stand by that one. So they've really come about with recently with obviously the pressure washer, and then they got all lights, and then I think the new electric spray you got there, that's
Yep, so the light system came out mid last year, I think.
Yep.
And then the foamer and electric trigger spray, again, they came out sort of mid to late last year, I think, from memory. Again, sort of innovative tools and equipment that just are designed to make life easier.
Yeah. No, it's a cool range. So yeah, I've been talking to them, and just for the range that they have, I think it's Aussie designed, or
yes.
But yeah, obviously it's not made here. But yeah.
Big Boy is based in Sydney,
Yep.
and all the design and development work is done here. Machines are obviously manufactured overseas, predominantly China, but we've again had a great deal of input in it, and it's the same with the pressure washer. The Pro pressure washer has taken a long time to actually get to market because they're a little bit different to most. Again, the ability to have a factory that was willing to work at making the best product they could, not the cheapest product they can. So the manufacturer or the factory that we were working with literally had redesigned the pump head like 6 or 7 times to get the most performance out of it before they would even release it. So it's been a really cool project. And it's a really good quality product.
Yep, and it's different because you can mount it on like a wall or like a little shelf.
Yep, so I actually just found out today that finally, and we've had a few delays on this, but the wall mounts and the hose reel have actually just landed in Sydney, so we'll have access hopefully then end of next week.
Oh, wow.
So it was set up to be a modular system based on the requirements from the industry, people wanting to be able to use their own hose or their own reels, etc. Nice compact units with wall mounts and hose reels and a trolley will be available in the next couple of days.
Wow. Yeah, because I think I've seen the initial photos of them, and then it's arrived. So, and Kamikaze, you mentioned them before. We had Todd Cooperrider the other week explaining, he spoke highly of Kamikaze because they are they rate that very highly as one of their main coatings they use. So that's pretty cool. So, but yeah, your products. So how long have they been out? Not very long.
The ENVOKE range was launched in end of November, so basically only 3 or 4 months. In development, we're probably coming on 6 years, to be honest. But only been out for a little while.
Yep. Yeah, and I got a little bit of a sneak peek of what goes on and what goes into it, and the process of how it's made, and it's all made here.
So yes, every product we have in our line is physically manufactured in-house here. The goal with the range, I mean, the brand for ENVOKE, again, sort of goes back to us a little bit old school. It's about invoking a sense of passion or pride or emotion. And for me and many people in the early days, that's what detailing was about. You went and hid out in the garage and worked on the car and whatever else, and that sense of I guess fulfillment and being able to enjoy the process of cleaning or detailing a car is, for me, it was more so a bit of a connection rather than just a process. So that's where the brand's been developed from. We had a bit of I guess the reason I've always imported products is because we've just never had access to Australian-made products that were comparable. There's a lot of companies that manufacture products in Australia, and again, they manufacture to a different market. Again, more your bulk chem market that are buying product based on price, not so much performance. We set out with a goal for the ENVOKE line to be a true, genuine Australian-made product line that was comparable with anything we bring in from overseas, whether it be out of Japan or Germany or Europe, etc. And I'd like to think we've achieved that. We've got a great range of products that I can honestly stand by that are as good as anything manufactured overseas, but are physically manufactured here from start to finish.
Yep. It's it's hugely impressive because from everything from bottle design, I think we were talking about that before, bottle design, triggers, labels, you think making the products hard, but then you go into bottles and triggers and...
Oh, absolutely. Look, I guess from a fundamental aspect, we could have just thrown any bottle and any trigger together, but there's, I guess, a bit more pride in what we're doing. I mean, it's the products themselves speak for themselves. They will perform, and outperform a lot of things and impress most people. But detailing is a presentation industry. The whole point of a detail is to improve the visual aspect or the connection of whatever you're working on. For me, the product design and the packaging design was as important as the bottles or as the product that's inside. So, we went quite overboard with what we were doing. The bottles are custom made, and as we discussed before, the bottles are custom made because I wanted continuity in the visual presentation. Each material looks slightly different. Some are clear, some are transparent, some are opaque, some are solid based on what the raw material is. In this bottle lineup, which we use a frosted pearl tinted bottle, the material all looks the same consistency. We have visually a really nice range of product. There's plenty of colour. The labels are very specific. We went a little bit, I guess, over development in labels that we've had them printed and cut in 2 physical labels so that we've actually got a band of colour that breaks up the label itself, which is presented by the colour of the product. Triggers, if anybody's worked in detailing and used the triggers in the past, triggers are the bane of everybody's existence. You always pick up a trigger that doesn't spray or dribbles down your hand or whatever else. So I sourced triggers from all over the world to find something that one was ergonomic, was nice to hold, pull the trigger and it sprays well, are reliable, and the performance of these triggers, they're made in Italy. They're one of the few things that we do import for the product. The bottles are made here locally. The labels are printed and cut in Sydney. The triggers come out of Italy. So, again, the product needs to perform, but the product needs to present well visually. People, like most people, eat or shop with their eyes, and if it doesn't attract you to begin with, people don't buy it. So there's a bit of a joke between myself and one of the other suppliers I deal with that the big part of what we do is enhance customer experience, and that's why we developed the products the way we did, and the bottles the way we are, the triggers we're using, the labels, etc. And even it comes down to the fragrance of the products. Each product has not your average off-the-shelf car chemical fragrance. They're all custom blended. We use 2 different fragrance manufacturers in Australia. One based in Sydney, one based in Adelaide, one based in Melbourne, who are commercial perfumers that literally make our own fragrances to suit each product.
Because I think as detailers, we love a good smelling product, so I think that goes a long way.
Well, as I said, again, it comes back to the enhanced customer experience. You've got to enjoy the process. If there's one thing to detail for a living, but if you're not enjoying it, it takes away, literally that part of the process away. So we focused very heavily on the fragrances because I wanted people to actually enjoy and get a sense of some sort of gratification from using the products. So
Yep. So I'll just go through. I'll name them all off. So we've got shampoo, pH neutral. We've got Reboot, descale shampoo, Tower Clean, ceramic detail spray, rapid ceramic, reactive wheel and tyre cleaner, ceramic tyre dressing, ceramic glass cleaner, all-purpose cleaner, interior detailer, interior dress and protect, panel prep, Essence Chillberry, Essence Escape, Snow Pro Active Foam, Rapid Ceramic Pro, and everything else. So, yeah, you've got a fair range. Is there one?
yes, it was never supposed to be quite as expensive as it is. When we initially sort of were putting this together, a lot of this was sort of driven by our customers wanting a range of maintenance products and readily available products that would suit their, I guess, initial drive. I sort of envisioned we were going to work on probably 5 or 6 products and basic shampoo, detail spray, wheel cleaner, etc. And as we were sort of developing the line, people come through with more requests and, can you do this or what about that? And it sort of blew out from there. We had a few products that were already being used in-house for quite some time, like our panel prep product is a wax and grease remover utilised before coatings or waxes, etc. It's my own formulation we've been working with personally for years. People have got their hands on it going, well, can you make that? Can you put that into a bottle? Because it's really good, we want to use it. And it's sort of expanded from there. We've got a couple of really cool specialty products. Ceramic detailer is really cool. I mean, it's just another ceramic detailer, but it's pretty impressive with its performance, gloss and slickness. The Reboot descaling shampoo is a little bit unique. It's a low pH solution. We use that fundamentally for two purposes: as a high cleaning boat wash, but it also works exceptionally well and has been sort of reformulated to suit ceramic coatings as a maintenance wash for detailers when they're getting back their annual or biannual servicing products. Deliberately formulated to remove scale and calcium buildup on the ceramic coating, and a lot of people don't see it, and they'll maintain the car, it still holds gloss and hydrophobics, but the hydrophobics drop down because the pores of the ceramic coating start to get clogged or blocked up. That particular product, when used, will actually literally descale the coating. It enhances the hydrophobics again, and actually will enhance the gloss because the scale and the mineral deposit that you don't see kind of works like a diffuser. It slowly detracts from the level of gloss on the finish. So,
I made the comment earlier about it. This stuff can be used on any coating, so we don't have to be specific brand. So it can be worked on anything, really.
yeah, it was developed to work alongside all brands and products. There's a few things that we had to manipulate and change so that it was suitable for any product coating. The vast majority of our product line is ceramic based. That was, the ceramic tire dressing, for example, has a lot of ceramic in it. It just holds the finish, and it's a premium, semi-satin finish. It lasts longer, especially when you use it as a rubber sealant. The ceramic glass cleaner is a really cool function. On the inside of the glass, it reduces film build-up from plasticizers and vapor from your vinyls and dash, but on the exterior also adds a hydrophobic coating. So again, self-cleaning, works as a rain repellent.
Yep. No, and the whole line looks very impressive. Yeah, like I said, with the labelling. And is there any plans to do maybe like, I suppose probably because it's a premium range, you've kept it down to the 4 litre range is the max?
The bulk at this stage is 500ml, 1 litres and 4 litres. We will have the option for bulk in 15 litre down the track. They can be specially ordered at the moment if we have product available. When we manufacture the products, we predominantly make them up in bulk batches anyway, so we bottle out limited batches to try and keep the manufacturing small so that we're constantly using fresh product, but we do always have a bit of a surplus left over for that reason. So that will be the next process. Our biggest issue with bulk containers is shipping. The cost of shipping in Australia is now getting out of hand, and we deliberately looked at a 15 litre rather than a 20 because people like Australia Post won't cart 20 kilos.
True.
It becomes a lift hazard for their staff. So these are all the things that people don't think about that we have to navigate when we're selling or supplying products or any other service for that matter. Is you've got to be able to get it to a customer.
Yeah.
So what we've done, I guess, to sort of counteract volume is concentrations. All the products are extremely concentrated. Our all-purpose cleaner is a concentrate of 40 to 1. So 1 litre makes 40 litres, which would be comparable to most people's ready-to-use or diluted concentrate. Same with the shampoos, they're all hyper-concentrates. The snow foam's only 50 mil, not 100 mil, etc. So the quality and I guess the dilution and performance, most of my customers will be aware and you'll hear me talk about, but we work on cost per application. It's a big thing I try and drive into all our customers. Our products may not be, regardless of whether it's the ENVOKE or Kamikaze Angel Wax, Nanoskin, etc., may not be the cheapest, but our cost per application versus whether it be performance, dilution, durability, etc., that's where it's probably more fundamental for for businesses to work on rather than the cost of the product. You can buy a cheap product, but it can cost you more.
Yeah. And that'd be good for detailers too, like cost per product. That's a big saving going forward as well if they use a fair bit of it.
Absolutely.
Cost is a big thing running a small business. So what's this? What's the Essence Chill Berry? What's that one?
So Essence Chill Berry is again custom blended fragrance. It's more along a blend of fruit and berries. In fact, not that this is going to help you for your podcast, but in terms of what it smells like. Anybody who's actually ordered product from us would have received the same fragrance in one of our air fresheners, and it
smells nice.
It is pretty nice. So the other version we have, which is our Escape, is based off actually a unisex cologne. It's actually, again, really nicely formulated. That was formulated by a perfumer for us in South Australia.
Oh yeah, yep.
So again, they're not your normal cherry and black ice and new car fragrance.
Probably some details will get it confused and probably wear it out on a Saturday night.
I can tell you for a fact, I know a couple of people that have been in emergency use either or as a perfume or a cologne on a night out. No problem at all.
Keeping the cost down. That's good. So, all right. What else have you got on offer in store here? You got a lot of brushes?
A lot. So same, we pair, align ourselves with products that I think are some of the best in the industry, and the Woolly brushes are that. They, if you don't have a set of Woolly brushes, they're an investment, but they are one of the best investments you can have. They last forever. They are just a really high quality product that does what it's supposed to do.
Yep. And just another one over here on the wall, a lot of pads. 3D?
Yeah, so predominantly the Buff and Shine range out of the US. So before we aligned myself with Buff and Shine, I've always could have used them in the past. I've just found their performance and very, very good. So we aligned ourselves with that over a couple of other options and rate them.
Are you seeing a lot of, do people still use a lot of foam? I still do, but is the microfiber and the wool moving much?
Microfiber is still probably king of the cut at the moment. Wool, again, I guess it depends on whether you're wielding a rotary or DA, but wool is definitely not the mainstay that it used to be. Microfiber has really sort of taken that role, and for obvious reasons. I mean, the efficiency of a microfiber. I mean, microfiber coatings just were developed to be the rotary wool pad equivalent for a dual action polisher. That's how it developed. They have a great level of cut, have a great level of finish in the same process, and if you look after your pads, you can get great durability out of them. So microfiber is still probably the number one cutting pad. Heavy cut foams not so much anymore, but your medium foams, and we have a lot of, I guess, one-step processes still in the industry, whereas I guess the one-step and the all-in-one step has taken over from a lot of that traditional cut and polish process. So we see a lot of medium. So in our Eurotech range, the maroon or the dark blue reflection artist pad, they're probably the biggest sellers in foam. But like everything, wool still has its place, but it's really more of a sort of a lower demographic.
Yep. No, you've got a lot of range of everything, a lot of microfiber, everything to go really. So, and all available online.
Yes, yeah, everything that we sell is available through Detail Central website. And microfibers we buy again direct out of the factory from a blend of predominantly Korea. We do have some bulk stuff in China. Triggers wherever possible. We sell the Canyon triggers, foam lancers, air tools, cyclonic tools, etc.
No, nice. So, is there much work involved with the online store? Much maintenance with it? To stay on top of?
Yeah, like anything, you've got to. We're actually about to start looking at rebuilding a new website. The website served its purpose for the last sort of close to 10 years now, being really good, but it's I guess the IT side of the industry constantly evolving. You've got to constantly change website to suit analytics for Google and Facebook marketing, etc. So that will be the next part of our process, is update websites. We have to develop a website for the ENVOKE range as well, and Angel X is a standalone too. So, but yeah, look, everything is an ongoing maintenance. You've got to look after it, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah. So your ENVOKE, is that on your Detail Central site?
So at this stage, yes, the ENVOKE range is exclusively purchased through the Detail Central website. We do have a few resellers coming on board now. More so, we've got a lot of the range we set up was really developed around our detailing customers, especially our guys in our coding networks that wanted to be able to utilise the range to on-sell to their customers. We had this sort of discussion off air before, but it's important for you as a business, if you're offering a detailing service, especially correction and coding, to educate your customer on how to maintain that work. It's the best way to get constant referral work, that if your car or the car that you perform the work on is constantly getting comments to that person, they're going to feel better about the process. Then, oh yeah, such and such, Dale did the job and it's amazing, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, etc. If you can convince that customer to look after your work, that's self-promotion.
Yep.
And they're going to continue to refer work to you because the car continues to look the way it does. So that was the next part of the process, is we are setting up resellers that can carry a portion of the product line to on-sell to their customers to maintain the work that they're doing.
Yeah. And I always say, like, education's huge after a coding and maintenance. So if you're not educating your customers and passing on products for them to help maintain that work you've done, they'll probably just go, your coding's rubbish. But
the maintenance side of it is, from a detailer to their consumer customer, is more important than the sales pitch to get that customer in the first place. Again, the fact that you can actually educate that person to then look after it and look after it properly, versus them being sent down to a retail store and they can go and buy a product down the aisle, but they don't know what they're buying, they don't know where they're using or how they're using it. Then they blame your work, not the product they've used incorrectly. So if you can offer them a package or a product or a process and educate them on how to look after your work, it only reflects well on you and the service you provided. If you send your customer out to the Wild West with no information and the coding doesn't work, or that they've used the incorrect product, or they've gone and clay barred the car or waxed it or whatever, and suddenly the product doesn't work, it's not them or their product, it's you and your product that's not working.
That's right. Yep. No, I couldn't agree more. So, all right, well, we might wrap it up.
No problem.
No, anything else to... What are your quick thoughts on the industry as a whole? You've been around a bit, so where do you see it in the next 5 years? Or
the industry is interesting. It has evolved quite a lot over the time I've been involved in it. I think like everybody, and I think most of your previous podcasts have all said the same thing. The biggest thing our industry lacks is proper training. There is slowly becoming more training available to up and comers. The biggest pro and con is the likes of YouTube training. That's is a lot of there's as much misinformation accessible as there is real information, and I think that can cause as many problems as it can fix. So the industry itself, look, I guess COVID was one of those things that sort of really proved that this is a pretty resilient industry. I honestly thought back then this industry would really sort of struggle. We are a luxury service. I don't care how you want to look at it. People don't physically need to have their car clean for it to be operated. So the fact that the industry sort of came through the other side quite well sort of indicates that there is a service and people will value the service that is provided. So, I think the industry's come a long way in the last 5 years particularly, but you go back 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, etc. We're a long way away from where we were, and I think it will continue to evolve. So,
Yeah, I think with the training side, I think you showed me before you've got a pretty amazing looking setup at the back here.
yeah, look, we unfortunately. The dreams of grandeur when we set this place up was to be a training facility. We've got a fairly extensive system out the back in terms of our detail booth or detail room and wash bay, etc. And a lot of that was probably a little bit selfishly set up for my own personal reasons, and I set it up how I wanted it set up. And unfortunately, the business itself hasn't evolved. And I guess I probably held too tight a leash on it, to be honest, that I don't have the staff to be able to operate a training facility. Yeah. There's literally myself and my daughter who operates all the shipping. I have another employee, Erin, who comes in a couple of days a week to help me with online and marketing, etc. But to be able to facilitate a proper training facility, I need more staff, more time. And unfortunately, it hasn't eventuated at this stage. I mean, it's something we'll continue to look at down the track. And I have a lot of space here that's tied up with a lot of expensive equipment and tools that probably needs to be better utilised.
Yeah.
But look, I think like anything, we will continue to evolve and hopefully continue to work alongside the rest of the industry and evolve with it. So
yeah. No, it's an awesome setup. Like I got the big tour, and I think it's very impressive. You don't know what's hiding around some of these streets some days and shops and stuff, and how good they actually present inside. And just the shop alone presents well, from the flooring and to all the products, how it's laid out and you set up out the back.
Yeah, look at the showroom itself. We deliberately set the showroom up. I sell premium products and they deserve to be presented as such. So our racking and shelving was all custom made to suit. The flooring, again, it's just a novel aspect, but it's a custom metallic epoxy floor that's was really cool and fun to do. And everything I'm doing is I guess directly related to what I want to do and how I want to do it. We're basing products and the products we sell on performance, not profit and price. Not the smartest way to run a business, but it's the way I enjoy knowing that we're selling the best products we can. And offering the best information and advice that I can to my customers.
Well, I think that's good. You hear that a lot. Like people, I'll use this brand because I've used it and I know it works. So I'm happy to and feel comfortable to sell it to customers. So you're pretty much the same.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, and I guess that's where I've been lucky that I've been able to work in the background and sort of get a better understanding of how to make the products work better. I mean, every product in here I've used before it's been sold. And I mean every product. We've tested and developed a lot of products. We've worked with a lot of products. Every single brand here. I've got shelves and cupboards and sheds of stuff at home that that haven't made production or have made production and everything else. And the whole point is, if you ring me and say I'm using this, how do I use it? I can tell you how to use it, and it's based on real world information, not just I read the back of the bottle and said to spray here and wipe that. And I think that's fundamentally important to my customers is we are a personal business. You know, you can ring and I will tell you what to do and how to do it, and you know, based on you getting the best result out of the product and supply. So
yeah, no, it's very impressive, and yeah, we just about nearly filled a bottle out the back and labelled it, so it all happens here. So it's I think you should be proud of that. A lot of work's gone into it. So all right, we'll wrap it up, and so yeah, this is hopefully we can do a bit more of this. This is on location, so in Detail Central. So that's the vision of this pod, was to take it on the road and do bits and pieces. So yeah, it's been a busy week. So thanks for your time, Dan, and hanging back, and it's very impressive show.
my pleasure. Hopefully it helps you or somebody else.
No, it should help everyone, and gets more knowledge out what products are on the market. So that's the intent as well for the pod. So yeah, for professionals to enthusiasts. So that's what it's all about. So more knowledge and education.
Too easy.
All right. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk soon, guys. Cheers.
That was another episode of the Detailing Down Under podcast. Subscribe now for everything auto detailing in Australia.